So now I'm going to tell you my experience with this board. If you're not sure where I am, it's dark, but yes, we are in a church. This board has been in this church since the year I stated, 2000. So, guys, I just have to say, first of all, this is one of the most reliable, sturdy boards that I've ever used. We have had no issues with this board, and it's been in here since the church was opened. No problems. Every single function works flawlessly. Ever since we put it in, there has been no problems with this board. There's really been no problems with any of this equipment, but the most important piece of the sound reinforcement system, the mixing console, has not failed us. And, you know, that's just a testament to how trustworthy Mackie is in products that they make. They don't play games when it comes to reliability, durability, and making sure equipment lasts a lifetime. And so, guys, reliability on this thing is great. I have nothing bad to say about reliability. It's durable, you know. It feels sturdy. When you work with it, you know it's sturdy, and you know, just to, you know, there's been many different engineers that have used this board throughout its lifespan. Many different mixing styles, many different, you know, ways of setting it. And the board has just remained flawless. It performs flawless depending, I'm gonna say this, it works flawless, it performs flawless depending on your mixing style. You know, different engineers do different things, and if you're one of those engineers that do a certain thing that this board, you know, probably can't handle, or you don't know what you're doing, let's just put it like that, you have no idea what you're doing, it's kind of, you know, what you put in is what you're going to get out, basically. If you put good in, you're going to get good out. If you put good mics in, you're going to get good sound out. If you hook it up to some pretty decent speakers, you're going to get some pretty decent sound from it. And it'll be reliable and trustworthy and user-friendly at the most, while you experiment with different things, learn different things, and just discover sound reinforcement. This board has truly helped me discover live sound. And I would say, you know, any beginner sound engineer, this is the perfect board, or any Mackie product is the perfect mixing console to start with. Because once you get this down, you know, then you can actually appreciate the benefit of other mixing consoles and other ways the EQ work and other preamps and different things like that. And since we're starting to talk about preamps and EQs, let's talk about the preamps and EQs on this guy, the VLZ Pro. The preamp, they advertised this preamp. They said it's supposed to be a studio-like preamp, but really, it doesn't really sound like a studio-grade preamp to my ears. The preamp kind of sounds like, it kind of sounds cold, if I can even put it like that. If I had to describe the sound, it would be like, take, I guess you could say, KFC chicken. It's kind of, you know, it's a weird comparison, but just roll with me here. The preamp kind of sounds crispy. The board itself sounds crispy, and you know, sometimes you want that crispy. Sometimes you wish that it could sound a bit more fuller. You know, like a full course meal with, you know, greens and macaroni and cheese and, you know, some meatloaf, a little beefy. But this thing kind of sounds, you know, like you're crispy. It's very crispy, and like I said, depending on the sound that you want as an engineer, you either like it or hate it, basically. Me, it's okay. I prefer something a bit more fuller, as far as preamp wise. The preamp could be more fuller to my ears, but what I can say is Headroom is, you can get some pretty darn good headroom out of this board. I'm telling you guys. The Headroom is amazing. And they designed it to where if you know, push it hard, yeah, it will. You're going to clip it, but you won't hear that clip because the preamp can actually handle that. It's a very low noise, very low noise, very low impedance preamp, and it's good. It's very high headroom. I haven't had, I've been pushing a full mix on this thing, drums, vocals, everything, and the board itself is flawless, headroom wise, flawless. No audible clipping because the preamp is like, I got this. And that's a great thing, you need that. You need that high gain, high workable preamp like that. And Mackie gave it to you. The EQ is where a lot of people have kind of bashed the VLZ Pro, any VLZ Pro. And I'm kind of bashing it too. This is because the preamp, or not the preamp, the EQ, it has a funny way of working. I can say this. The EQ is pretty responsive on this console. Pretty darn responsive. So, if you make a change, you'll hear it. Like I said, if you have some good speakers, obviously, and some good ears too, you'll hear your changes that you're making. But when you cut a frequency, or if you're sweeping trying to find a frequency and cut it, if you have your gain set center, obviously you're not cutting or boosting anything, but it kind of feels like there's too much of that specific frequency. When you cut it back, like I'm doing now, it feels like the board is taking away, chopping off, half of that frequency right there. And that's what this board does. When you want like a little sparkle on your vocals, I don't really do it, but if you want a little sparkle up in the 12 kilohertz range, the board kind of says, well, we'll just give you a whole lot of sparkle. It kind of overboosts and overcuts. It's not really musical. The EQ basically just does what it should, but it's not a musical EQ. It's kind of harsh. The EQ is kind of harsh. Depending on the frequencies that they chose, and the cut and boost basically in general kind of make it kind of harsh, and it's kind of hard to listen to, especially at high volumes. The EQ kind of gets on your nerves a little bit. But depending on the engineer you are and your choice of mixing style and your use with EQ, you can make it work. You can make it work for what it was designed to do. And it will work. Like I said, the EQ is not god-awful, Behringer, or, those other little cheap consoles. It's not Behringer horrible. It's decent. It's workable. You can cut what you need to. I don't really boost when I mix. I do a subtractive EQ approach. But if you do boost, if you want to give a little high boost, a high shelf boost, you can do that, and it will do it, but it'll kind of be like a little too much, in my opinion. It's kind of it's not really musical. It's kind of very surgical and, very kind of sterile, if I could describe it like that. But other than that kind of, flaw that it has, guys, if you're looking for a board that's a great starter, is user-friendly to all of your volunteers that use it, as well if you're an experienced engineer, who is looking for a pretty decent board to take out to gigs. The Mackie SR VLZ Pro, SR32 VLZ Pro, is a pretty good board. I can say this, Mackie has gotten so much better at the products that they made. So this board does not compare to the new VLZs. I haven't even used a new VLZ, but they just completely redesigned this whole surface here. They put better EQs on it. They put better preamps on it. They put less blocky faders on it. And, the result is a little bit, probably, a lot of bit, if that's even a word, better than the VLZ Pro range. But I can say, that preamp is, the preamp does wonders as far as headroom is concerned. And the reliability of it just can't be beat, it It's built like a tank. What can I say? You know, it's a pretty decent board. And once again, depending on the engineer you are, what you put in is what you're going to get out. That's the basic way to sum it up. Sorry. But that's a pretty basic way to sum this board up. What you put in it is what you're going to get out. If you put good in, put good sources in, put good mics in, run good speakers through it, run good processing, you're going to get some pretty decent stuff from this board. If you try to, you know, do something stupid on it, you know, the result is going to be completely stupid. Probably worse than stupid. It's just when it comes to the EQ especially. But it's a great board, you know, decent startup board. And, you know, it has a soft spot in my heart. It really does. But when your church wants to upgrade and get something better analog-wise, or digital-wise, if you like digital, but I'm an analog guy. I like analog, too. You know, Soundcraft is the next step up, and who knows, Allen and Heath may be the next step up for you, or maybe even Midas. Oh, yes, Midas. Oh, God. I'm getting, you know, goosebumps just thinking about Midas. But before you get to Midas, if you start with Mackie, you'll be happy. And you'll want to mix on it again and again because it's a pleasurable mixing experience for the price.